Active weather in the tropics and a fresh monsoon burst are giving not one but two tropical low pressure systems as we move towards the weekend, both of which have a high chance of further development into tropical cyclones during this coming weekend. Let's start off by taking a look at satellite imagery. So this is an actual observation to help us ground our model forecasts. And what we're looking at here is moisture in the atmosphere, the bright colours showing where we've got deep convection, tall clouds, big thunderstorms and lots of moisture. And a couple of areas jump out at the moment. Firstly here northwest of WA, when we're getting into the blues and whites, we're really looking at high moisture values. And then a bit of a cluster here around northern parts of the Northern Territory along the coast of the top end. So it's no surprise when we do jump into that model forecast that is where we see our two tropical lows. One here over the northern coast of Australia, the central part of the top end of the Northern Territory, and a second tropical low here northwest of the country. This one is having an impact on the weather right now as we film this video on Thursday around the middle of the day. So let's start off with a look at that one. We will zoom in a little bit closer and we will see that we're already experiencing heavy rain, strong winds and even large waves around the top of the top end, and that is likely to continue for the next couple of days. We have got severe weather warnings in place covering parts of the Northern Territory including Darwin and the Tiwi Islands. So through this yellow area you could see over the next 24 hours or so heavy rainfall that could lead to flash and riverine flooding as well as damaging wind gusts 90 to 100 kilometers an hour. That can bring down trees, power lines and potentially damage property. If you're right on the coast, there is also a hazardous surf warning in place for this northern coastline. Big waves and very dangerous conditions for any boating across that area at the moment with those rough seas expected. That is in play for now. That's how we're looking on Thursday. How about as we move towards the weekend? Where's this low moving? Well, it's going east on Friday and expected to move into the Gulf of Carpentaria either late Friday or early Saturday. But once it gets over these warm waters in the Gulf, we anticipate intensification and strengthening of this tropical low. Currently, it looks most likely to become a tropical cyclone on Sunday with a high probability of that occurring over the Gulf. Even before that though, we will start to see strong winds and heavy rain across northern parts of Queensland, all through Gulf country here and parts of the eastern top end, and that could continue into the weekend. If we do see tropical development on Sunday, there's a few scenarios that could happen after that, but it looks like the most likely scenario is that the tropical cyclone early next week would then swing westwards once again back into the Northern Territory. Whether or not we do see this intensification occur, there will be some severe weather around northern parts of Australia this weekend, so do stay up to date with forecasts and warnings if you're in North Queensland or the NT. That's enough about that first system. Let's jump over to the northwest of the country now and look at the second system, which may develop a little bit sooner. Moving towards the country on Friday is a tropical low, but possibly intensifying to a tropical cyclone on Saturday evening or Sunday morning. Initially likely to be a Category 1 system, but we could see it become a Category 2 tropical cyclone during the day on Sunday. Again, once we see this tropical development this weekend, there are a few scenarios that could occur. There's a chance this low takes a more due southerly track towards the northwest of WA, bringing severe weather towards parts of the Pilbara coastline towards the end of the weekend or early next week. But we may also see the system hook sharply out to the west, moving away from Australia with very little or potentially even no impact to the weather across mainland Australia. What we have here, this track in the middle where it moves towards the country and then starts to track southwest, is currently looking like the most likely solution for where this will go through the weekend and early next week. But as per usual, if you're in Western Australia, particularly through the Pilbara or up around Carnarvon and Exmouth, do stay up to date with latest tracks and warnings, as well as all your forecasts for the weekend and early next week. Finally, before we finish, a quick look at flood watches. Now, these are areas that may see flooding over the coming days. They're not all associated with those tropical cyclones, but up across the top end, far north Queensland and parts of northern WA, we could see these tropical lows and potential tropical cyclones add to the potential for flooding through the next couple of days. So lots of action across northern Australia this week. Do stay up to date with those warnings, with those forecasts and with those tracks at the Bureau website and app, and we'll keep you updated on social media as well.